Welcome back to our podcast, Who Lied to You? And I'm your host, Flavia, together with
Jocelyn. Muja kufa. If you do not take it,
you need to really deal with the stressors, the different lions that are in your life. You need to find a way of dealing with them.
I have a doctor friend who told me all the logists, those medical people that end logists, like psychologists, dermatologists, all those that end with, in most cases, in stress.
And today, being a Stress Awareness Month, as we conclude this month, we want to bust one myth that we've probably had or told and believed along the way about stress. There's usually some memes that go on social media, and I'll read this particular one for you. Anxiety is so weird. Why is my mental illness in my stomach? I bet you've also gone through something of the sort where you're anxious, you're stressed out, but somehow your body is also being affected. And you're wondering, how does this actually come about? So we've been brought up to think, or we've had things, or we've probably thought that when you're stressed out, when you're having mental issues going on, probably just stress, anxiety, and whatever it may be, you thought it would just stay in your head and not show up in your stomach, not show up in your body, not show up in anything else. But then you realize that it goes beyond just being a mental thing. Personally, I think I've checked into hospital about 4 times. And the doctors have said, you know what, we can't see a thing in you. And then they'll ask you the questions, are you stressed out? You're like, yeah, I'm going through stress at work or something. And then they will have taken your vitals, checked the blood pressure, checked whatever, taken some blood samples for tests. And then there's nothing showing up. And then they just tell you, go home, take some rest, and deal with whatever is stressing you. Deal with the stress that you're experiencing. I don't know if you've had a similar experience.
Not to that extent, but because I have personally done the work, I know that like when this happens, I am stressed. It may not be in the mind, maybe before I have that conversation, and maybe my tummy is paining or my hands are sweaty. Like I know, like, yeah, it's not, I'm stressed, or a migraine, in most cases, headaches. Yeah, sometimes when I get a headache, the first thing I think of, where is this stress coming from?
Yeah, that's true. Me too.
Am I having enough rest? What am I overdoing? What burdens am I taking on? So yeah, not similar to your case, but yeah, I've had instances where my body tells me that this is stress and you need to relax.
Now you understand why I chose to be a rested girl this year.
Yeah.
Last year, I checked into hospital about 4 times. And the doctors were just telling me, you know what, I think you're stressed. Go back home and rest and deal with whatever is stressing you, because we're not seeing anything. Yeah, that is me really. I got to that point.
I have a doctor friend who told me all the logists, those medical people that end logists, like psychologists, dermatologists, all those that end with, in most cases, in stress. Because if your skin reacts, there's something that
is triggering it.
Yes.
Which could actually be stress, which
in most cases is stress.
Yeah.
And this doctor was saying that people forget to ask, are you stressed? And then they would check the skin, they would do what? Forgetting.
They'll check pregnancy. Me, that thing annoys me. The minute you're walking in, they'll
forgetting that actually stress.
I get from the stress, man. Why all these things are going on. It doesn't have to be pregnancy. Kumanga. Recently, I visited a medical center out of Uganda, and one thing at the back of my mind I knew that I would be asked to do was a pregnancy test. And it did not come up. I was in utter shock. So yes, but maybe we need to start testing people for stress, talking to them, asking them if maybe they are stressed out, because there's so much going on right now. A lot of things are happening. We're being pulled left, right, center. We're doing businesses. We're running full-time jobs. We're having children. So there's so much. We've now grown up. We have so many things to pull us all around. And so they cause the stress that causes all these other things in us. There are several manifestations of stress in our bodies. Some of them, of course, are physical. Others are mental. Others are emotional. Because as we are not just body. We are body, mind, and spirit. Right? We are body, mind, soul, and spirit. Yes. So all these things, stress affects us in these different areas. You could share with us how stress affects us, maybe mentally, emotionally, and all these things.
Yeah. So mentally, stress causes, of course, the common ones that we know, depression, anxiety, but there's also forgetfulness. There's also brain fog.
Yeah.
There's also ADHD.
What is ADHD?
ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Okay.
So you have a short term, like you focused for a very short time until something else comes up. So if I'm writing something and then my phone rings, I can easily ignore it. But then if I actually get to the phone, pick the call, and then get to my phone and actually start scrolling, forget about, there's a high chance that you could have Richard is overthinking. I think he's thinking of that time when he's had episodes of ADHD. Yeah, so I have bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder where you're on and off.
Oh yeah.
You're overexcited
1 minute,
yes,
and the other.
yeah, you're on the extremes. You're either so excited or you're isolated.
Yeah.
We have. We talked about did I talk about forgetfulness?
Yes, you did.
Yes. And irritability.
Yeah.
Easily
irritated by things and
things like low. I have a friend who normally says that she has low. She calls it low. Forgetting the name. Not easily. Low patience disorder. That's what I think that's a low patience disorder. Like she can't tolerate.
Oh yeah, that your tolerance level is low.
Yes. Also, among other things.
Yes, difficulty concentrating.
Yes, migraines, headaches.
Yeah.
So when any of these things pop up in your mind, the first thing that you should be asking yourself is, am I stressed? Yeah, am I moving the right way I'm supposed to move? Am I eating the right way? Am I resting the right way? When you talk of body, we have stroke. Stroke that can be caused by a tumor, the brain. We have belly fat. Some of us have tried to reduce our belly fat through exercises, having the right regimes, eating, intermediate fasting. But the thing with stress is that one of the hormone chemicals of stress is cortisol.
Yeah.
And what cortisol does as a side effect, let's say, is it a good side effect for a time is it keeps fat in the abdomen. It stores fat in the abdomen, so that when you're going through the immediate stress, maybe a project, maybe a relationship stress, maybe work stress, whatever it is, you have energy, you have something if you go in that time. But remember, it's supposed to be just adaptive, not maladaptive. So it's supposed to be like for a short time, not for a long time. So when you keep on gathering this, the cortisol doing this, we end up having belly fat that can't shift. Belly fat that can't shift. So
cortisol bellies.
Yeah, cortisol bellies. So that is another
manifestation.
The body.
Yeah.
We have chronic illnesses Those are so many. You have so many chronic illnesses. We have, you were recently sharing about how your mom was, yeah.
Oh yes. For me, I think this has been one of the biggest realizations in life, that stress actually is such a bad thing, and it shows up in our bodies. My mom, for the past 15 plus years, like I told you, has struggled with an autoimmune disorder called rheumatoid arthritis. Over the past year, she has been more stressed out than ever before, and it has caused us to visit hospital even much more. Like, she is in constant pain these days more than ever before. Of course, we will say that the disease has grown, but also I've realized that the more she's stressed out, the more hospital visits we make. But if we go back to the beginning, I've realized that this autoimmune disorder that she has came as a result of stress back then. And so it has grown through the years, and now it has gotten to a point where we're going in for an operation. But that is the reality that I've been hit with, that stress can actually
Affect your body.
affect your entire system, because rheumatoid arthritis is a nervous, it attacks the nervous system and then ends up in your bone as well. So it attacks the nervous system first, so the brain and whatever else comes off the brain, the nervous system, and then the joints were also affected in a way. The immune system attacked itself and affected it. So I've been at the live show of stress.
Let's just say
Manifesting in the body.
any chronic disease
Yes.
is caused by stress and can be prevented by handling your stress.
Your stress level.
Heart disease, all the different types of cancers,
High blood pressure. Diabetes.
mainly diabetes type 2.
Yes.
Like all these, just Google chronic diseases. And any of those.
Yes, stress related stress. Then recently we have an issue up in women a lot, which is the hormonal imbalance issue. Because I deal with a lot of women at my business, and a lot of them come in with an issue of hormonal imbalance, endometriosis, PCOS, and all these things. You realize that hormonal imbalance is caused by stress. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. So our hormones are in a pyramid kind of thing. There's a pyramid that hormones work through. At the very bottom of that pyramid is cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that is produced when you are stressed out. So at the bottom of the pyramid is cortisol, adrenaline, and insulin. So the minute you distort cortisol, because it's at the bottom of the pyramid, it's like these phones and whatever gadget goes on here. I mean, you disorganize the bottom of it, everything else falls out of balance. And so it is with stress. The hormone cortisol, when it is produced in our bodies, there are lots of hormones that rely on it to do what they should do or not do. So once cortisol is distorted, above it there's the sex hormones, testosterone and estrogen. Above it there's melatonin. There's a lot of hormones that are in that entire pyramid. We'll probably share it in this video. So you need to, reason why we are saying this is that you need to watch your stress levels, because once cortisol is produced and then goes beyond what is needed in the body, it distorts the entire hormonal balance in your body. So it is important that we take care of ourselves and learn to manage our stress levels.
Maybe a story to make that a little bit easier.
Yes.
There's that story we're talking about, the lion. So the way our bodies work.
Yes.
Think of that lion.
Yeah.
That is chasing you in the
jungle.
What's the first thing you're going to think of? Either run or gather energy to fight it.
Yeah.
So in most cases, we do not fight. In in most cases we run away.
You choose to run.
Yeah. But whatever you choose, whether it's flight or fight
Or freeze.
or freeze,
Yeah.
your body is gathering energy from your muscles, from your thighs, so that you can run faster. From your heartbeat, so your heartbeat will start, beating faster.
And
pumping more blood.
Yeah.
Your eyes will have laser focus because you're trying to deal with that immediate threat, which is, was it a tiger or a lion?
Something.
Yeah, a lion. Yeah. So because your body is gathering all this from all the centers of the body, there are some, because it's doing this to deal with this, there are some parts that are lacking. There are some parts that go lacking because it's supposed to act as an emergency. Imagine like you're in a building and there's that emergency door. So when stress comes, you're supposed to go through the emergency door. But this time you're going through the emergency door all the time. So that's what is happening in the bodies, because you're gathering hormones and chemicals from all over the body to gather to deal with this immediate stress, the immediate stress that is happening. And we end up lacking in certain areas. That's maybe to make it easier. You've also the hormonal imbalance, yes, and all that. But this time, what happens is that the lion is not
Going away.
and the lion is the bills that you haven't paid. The lion is the relationship that you're in that is stressing you. The lion is the
Deadline.
Yeah, the work deadline. The lion is the mortgage that you have. The lion is the school fees. The lion is your wife. The lion is your husband. The lion is your husband. So dealing with all that it will definitely cause hormonal imbalances in your body.
Yeah.
Lavia was telling us, and eventually cause stress, trauma, disease, and death. Mujja kufa if you do not take it.
You need to really deal with the stressors, the different lions that are in your life. You need to find a way of dealing with them. You also realize that stress, when someone is stressed out, either someone visits the toilet more often or they don't visit the toilet at all. So it affects the gut as well.
So much.
It affects the gut so much. And so you need to watch for that. You'll probably lose sleep as well when you're stressed out. You probably will be up in the night with racing thoughts.
Brain fog.
Yes, then you wake up in the morning and you haven't slept enough, so you have brain fog. So the cycle continues. You need to find a way of breaking that cycle. In all this stress management that we do, there's something called a stress bucket, right? So the analogy of a stress bucket is that as you see a bucket at the very top, there's a wide mouth. So there's a tap of stuff, what the world is feeding you, the stressors that you're talking about, maybe work, maybe a relationship, maybe family, your husband, or whatever is going on in your life. And then in that bucket, you poke some holes. So the holes that are poked in that bucket are supposed to be the way you deal with the stress. So those are the coping mechanisms to the stress. So that you let it out. So you let it out. It is important that you know what fills your bucket, your stress bucket, and then you need to put holes, poke holes into your bucket to let out the stress. So people let out stress in different ways. But while you hold the stress, what are you doing? How are you managing it so that it doesn't affect your body? So then the coping mechanisms come out in how you handle the stress and deal with the stress. So people deal with stress differently, and you need to find what works for you. We're going to share some of the things that have worked for us, but at the end of the day, get back to yourself and ask yourself, okay, when I'm stressed out, what do I actually do that actually makes me feel better? Personally, when I'm stressed out, one way it really manifests is back pain. I usually have lower back pain and maybe shoulder pain as well. And then I'll lose sleep and my face as well. The skin and all that kind of thing will happen to me. For me, those are clear signs. Once I see a lot of pimples or things going on in my face, I always look in the mirror and ask myself, what is stressing you? Once I feel back pain, I'm always asking myself, what could be coming down on you? You need to exercise that awareness, self-awareness for yourself to know that you nip the bud quickly before it becomes a bigger issue. So when I have back pain usually, or shoulder pain, or skin issues, first things first is take awareness. Make myself aware of what is actually stressing me. I ask myself, can I actually deal with it? Is there a way I can change the situation? Can I control it? And if I can't, that one I will put it aside and tell myself, now Flavia, I need to realize that you can't do so much about it. Let it be and concentrate on myself. And then after that, I'll look for things that fill my cup. That is where self-care comes in. You need to find what works for you, what helps you deal with the stress, what helps you become better and get out of a stressful situation. Yeah, so for me, aerobics works for me. I can plan to go for aerobics. If not, I love talking to friends. I can look for friends and we just chit chat and talk about whatever we need to talk about. But my biggest is I always go back to God.
As well.
Yes. For me, that helps me and all. Yes.
Okay, for me, it's isolation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I did.
isolation. Once I feel like I need to be alone, I know something is not right.
Oh, yeah, that's how it manifests.
Yeah.
I felt that was a solution.
That's how I know. That and headaches. That headaches and my body feeling drained. You're there, you haven't done anything the entire day. You've probably been at home. You feel tired. I know I'm stressed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm stressed. I haven't done anything, or probably I haven't gone to work, but I haven't done much. That I feel drained. I feel like I've been working for a whole week without rest. And yeah, for me, it's feeling drained. My entire body, once I feel drained, once I feel so tired, once I feel like I want to isolate, and the headaches kick in, I know something is not right. For the headaches, I'm going to sleep. That is the solution. Isolation. The first time it happened, I looked for the underlying issue. Where is this coming from? So in most cases, there's this thing in psychology, there's a term that we have called trauma time. So trauma time is something that something that traumatized you happened to you. Remember, trauma is not something that happened to you. Trauma is what happened to you and how it affects you. That is what is trauma. That is what is traumatizing. So for me, I remember I told you that time when I was still young, and that time when our parents would come and the car is hooting, and then you get, what have I done? What house chores have I done? What's done? Yeah. That time was very traumatizing to me at home, and I think I lived with it for some time until I actually dealt with it and healed from it. So, and that time when my parents would come home, that would be from like 7 to 9. So that would be my trauma time. So in that time, I needed to isolate. I wanted to isolate, but I needed to be around people. So once I noticed that, okay, the underlying issue is this, it no longer affects me. It's just a bypassing fault. I'm not supposed to be alone at that time. I'm not supposed to be alone. I'm supposed to be around friends. So in most cases, I would go out, hang with friends, chill. Or maybe you could watch a movie. It doesn't, maybe like tea, ice, anything. But I'm not supposed to be alone, because once I'm alone, then my memories, my brain is going to run to that time of, oh, they've come back. What have I done? And it's going to reflect in my world as, what have I done in life?
Oh, yeah.
What have I done? Have I finished that deadline? Have I finished that project? Have I come up with a list
that I need to tell?
Yeah, so it's For me, it's definitely isolation, the brain, the headaches, and feeling drained. With feeling drained, I always go back to what I love doing. Feeling drained, like you, I go back to my creator. I go back to the Almighty. Once I feel drained, it's worship music. Worship music has a way it fills me up.
When I feel drained, I will first take a nap. Yes.
Yeah.
I love taking naps. So the minute I feel exhaustion, yeah, for me, I take naps, and then afterwards I'll have recouped enough energy to do whatever else needs to be done. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, that I immediately, it's like a signal. It's like redirection. Like, oh, God needs me right now, because there's nowhere else. I have nothing else to give. But also, God likes it like that. He likes you when you're at the end of you, so that He can come and know that, the power you have is not because you have some sort of strength. The power you have is the power that I'm giving you. So you don't have any power. Let me come and show you that it's like I'm the Almighty. I am who I am. So, and right now, I am the one who gives you energy. I am the one who gives you power. So listening to worship music energizes me in a way that I can't explain. Yeah. Worship music takes me there. Yeah. Takes me to fills me up. Yeah, that song that came to my mind right now, Fill Me Up. Fill me up. Yeah, I'm not good with, I have many talents. Singing is not one of them. But yeah, worship music is definitely something that I run to. It's a solution.
I'm wondering, what would you do if you showed up in hospital and they told you it is stress? What would you do?
I wouldn't deny.
Okay, yeah, you accept.
Yeah, I accept.
So you're on your way back home, what would you do?
If they've told me that I'm stressed?
Yeah, it is just stress.
Well, first of all, in that moment, I'll be like, where did it come from? What you're not doing?
Do a search.
Yeah, do a search. And then try and, first of all, first relax.
You've been relaxing, my dear.
Yeah, relax. And
but the body somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, and so look for the search. Deep breaths. Take deep breaths and tell myself everything is going to be okay. I am okay. I am safe. Everything is going to be okay. So deep breaths. While I look for, because sometimes the search may not come immediately. Sometimes you need to take some time to actually know what is leaking. Where is it coming from? Where is the... So, taking the deep breaths, taking a walk, going back to worship music, listening to music, listening to worship music, resting.
Yeah, resting is definitely important.
And once I reach home, I am diving myself in movies.
Yeah, reason why I asked you is it was quite an awakening moment for me when every time I show up in hospital and tell me, oh, we don't say a thing. You're just stressed out. Go home, do what you have to do. And when it happened for so long, I knew that when it happened several times, I knew that I had to do something much more than what is usually told out here and all. But anyway, of course I read more about what I needed to do and all. That's when I came across somatic exercises. And I remember at the time I came up with somatic exercises, I had gone full blast into doing the very strenuous exercises. So one thing I realized, one of the truths that I realized about stress management was that it is good to do exercises when you're stressed out. No, exercise is a good thing to do even when you're stressed. But when you're stressed out, you need to limit the exercises you do, or you need to change the kind of exercises you do. So I used to go for my aerobics as usual, and I remember, I think they put a lot of pressure on my system and instead increased the cortisol in my body instead of helping me reduce the cortisol. So when I learned the somatic exercises, They helped me calm down better. The other thing I did was to I fell into the trap. I finally fell and I accepted to fall into the trap of supplements. It's not a trap, okay, but it's something that I had always avoided to take. So I found myself buying supplements because I realized the problem is internal and I can't get to the internal. I need to take something, which is not drugs from hospital, which they are not giving me anyway.
Not weed.
So I had to find something else to put into my internal system to help me deal with the stress. So I found some supplements. I remember at the time I found supplements to help me boost my immunity, which was vitamin C. And then I also found supplements to help me with my sleep, which had ashwagandha and all these other things.
Melatonin.
Yes. Those ones I finally did. Then I did the somatics. Then I started taking teas, chamomile, to calm myself down, to calm my spirit down, to calm. Like I said, I decided to do the internal work.
Yeah.
Outside I was doing. Internally, I felt like, okay, now I need to work on the internal system. So I did that as well. Then, of course, I got away. I always like to get away. I got away, took a trip, did what and what and what. That somehow always fuels me up and stuff like that. So those are things that I've also learned on my own journey of stress management. As we share all these solutions and we share our own experiences, we just want to assure you that if you are going through, we are also going through. But also, if you want to, the one thing that can help you, it's stress. The one thing, are you ready? Get your batteries. It is everything. That is the one thing you can do to help yourself deal and protect stress. Yes, there is no magic bullets to stress management. Like a lot of things in this life, there's never that one. For us here, no, we shall not say the solutions that no.
You can use that maybe as the best way itself. It can heal cough. It can help it helps blood pressure, cancer, diabetes. It's too far that. So there's too far there. We do not have those here. We don't have those here. We don't have them at biotherapy. We don't have them anywhere. At her Fortune Care, she doesn't have those magic bullets. So we're here to tell you that those magic bullets are also like admits. You need to do a cocktail of things and take a cocktail of stuff to actually deal with problems such as stress. Yeah. Right? And so all that I listed, you need to do. You need to watch your nutrition. You need to sleep. You need to visit a doctor if you're not well. You need to set some boundaries. It's the right way. Rest. You need to do some exercises. Good exercise will help to produce that cortisol within you, so that when you stress out at a later time, it does not shock the body. It is used to having this cortisol produced in your body, right? So that is the beauty about exercising. However, overly doing them when you're stressed out also wears you out more. That's why the cortisol bellies come up, those tummies that you have around your waist, stuff like that. You need to feed well, and then of course take action on what needs to be done. Sometimes it's just procrastinating that causes us to be stressed out, be anxious, and all these things. So do what you need to do. Do the next thing that you need to do. Don't wait out for things that may not materialize. But if you have something that you can do right away, please do the next thing that you need to do. Now, one thing that we forget is the environment. Who is around you, where yourself to what information are you thinking, all these things can cause you stress. You know how women around each other gets the same mistress like, oh yes.
So those are our magic bullets, yeah. We are quite a number. But just like you go to hospital and they never give you just one cup or give you just one type of medicine, we also have a cocktail of them to help you through your stress battle. So thank you so much for joining us. We have had an awesome time. We hope this episode helps you to think of stress as something bigger than just being a mental thing, but how it affects your body So at next time when your doctor's visit, you ask or you do a self-test of if you're stressed out and then try to work that ways.
We also do stress test at Fortuna Care
Yes.
and
Oil therapy.
exactly.
Yes. So we'll be happy to see you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and share this video with someone below. We'll be very happy to hear this information. Yes. God bless you.